Hello and welcome to Universus. I am back talking about Critical Role Heroes of Exandria, and now that we've seen all 20 characters, we've seen all 20 alt arts, I want to talk about chromes. Critical Role Heroes of Exandria is a very weird set in that it is having 8 chromes, one for each cast member, which are then signed by that character's voice actor or player, and these are going to be highly sought after, highly collectible cards. Unfortunately, I don't have the chromes to show you. I am very sorry. Do want to talk about the cast, the characters, and who I think each cast member is going to have as their chrome. Let's start off with the outlier. The reason that this is a very hard choice, because when you talk about chromes with the community, you get one thing back. Well, it won't be the characters that were in the challenges, because they already have challenger alt arts, and that is essentially almost a chrome equivalent. But Laura Bailey is the outlier there. Laura Bailey only has 2 characters, Jester and Vex. Jester and Vex have both already got alt arts. So that theory kind of goes out the window. You can't go, oh, they won't get crumbs because they've got alt arts, when each of the cast members get one, and Laura Bailey only has 2 characters in campaigns 1 and 2. We're not counting Bell's Hells here. Who is Laura Bailey's chrome going to be? And that is kind of the question. It's a tough one, because both Vexalia and Jester are amazing characters for very different reasons. They're both very powerful, they're both very good at what they do, and they're both very lovable. It is so hard to narrow down which one is going to walk away with the chrome, and I'd always say both of the characters deserve it, but I think it's going to be Jester. I think Jester is the right choice. Vexalia is great. Vexalia is a lot of fun and a very cool character, but I personally feel that Laura Bailey has a lot more fun being Jester. I think Jester is a lot more beloved, a lot more endearing to the community, and as a collector's piece, I think Laura Bailey is going to be done by Jester. Now, moving on to my favourite characters, Caleb and Vax. Liam O'Brien, master of puns, art dad of the community, and absolute boss of underrated jokes. He has done so many underrated jokes throughout the series that have just gone completely over people's heads, and it makes me sad. But we have Vaxeldine and Caleb Whittlegast. And that's a tough one. How can you possibly choose between the champion of the matron and the firebug of the empire? They are both very powerful, very cool characters. Very powerful with such great chrome aesthetics. Caleb's fire and eventual dunamancy kind of being portrayed on a chrome would be absolutely amazing. Then moving into like the shadows and action-packed sneaking and deception of Vaxeldine are both absolutely amazing, and I think with this one I have to go with the theory of the people, that because Vax already has a very highly sought after alt art, Caleb will get the chrome here, and I think Caleb is a very good choice. He's a very playable character, arguably more playable than Vax will be. And although Vax will still see play, Caleb has a lot more competitive potential. So for showcasing the characters, for showcasing for streams and collectors, having chromes out there which are sought after will be very cool. I think it has to be Caleb. Let's move on to the man, the myth, the legend, and the citizen of a country which no longer exists, Taliesin Jaffe. The first person we're going to talk about who has 3 options. We have Percival Derolo, Cadius Clay, and Mollymock Tea Leaf. Now, for reasons I won't get into, I don't think it's going to be Mollymock. It's the same as when I come to Sam Regal's. Mollymock is cool. Mollymock is very beloved, and to the point where I did not expect certain things to happen because of how much love there is for Mollymock. But at the same time, I think Caduceus and Percival are better options for the Chrome. Mollymock is great. Mollymock is very cool, and I really hope I get to see more of them. But I think Caduceus and Percy are great options here. Now, as good as Caduceus is, I think Percival is a better choice here. Percy goes hard. Percy is a great retro and standard character. Caduceus is very much beloved, and I would love to see everyone's favourite Furbolg getting the love they deserve. But Percy is so much cooler as a card. It's hard to say. The Percy is so very cool. The only thing that would make me think that Caduceus is going to get it more is the alt arts. Don't get me wrong, Caduceus is slaps. Caduceus has a great alt art, but fuck me, Percy's. Percy had no right going that hard with his alt art. Percy's alt art is on fucking point. The sort of bowel circular aspects of the alt art in the Arphax shadow, the fact that Arphax is looming over, and you get that kind of real descent into how dark Percy is from the original art to the alt art is just absolutely amazing. And I don't want Arphax on a Chrome. We've already got one on a boss card, we've already got one in the set. Leave Arphax out of this. He keeps coming back. Fuck that guy. Fuck that demon. And I think that Caduceus could possibly walk away with just because of how hard the outcome. But I'm going to say Percy gets this. Percy's very cool. Percy is, again, fan-polled. And I think that is a very good place for Percy to be in. Let's move on to Marisha Ray, where we have Beauregard Lionette and Caliph of the Arishari. This is a tough one. Beauregard is very cool. I love Tracy. I think that she's very cool, and I hope that she finds her purse. But this is a Caliph one. This is immediately a Caliph. Caliph is an absolute icon. Caliph is more cosplayed, more sought after, more loved. I see a lot of love in Reddit and other places for Beauregard, but if you're talking about who people love the most out of Marisha Ray's characters, it's Caliph. It has to 100% be Caliph. Also, I want Chris Smith to go bankrupt hunting down all 100 Caliph chromes, because he will. I think that's just quite funny, and would also be quite good because people will get to messaging me whenever Dabby chromes got pulled, and I want someone else to experience that kind of, oh, look what I pulled, do you want it? No, I can't afford it. Yeah! But that's just me. Let's move on to Sam Regal, our other cast member who has 3 options. We have Tyrion Darrington, Scanlan Shortholt, and Not the Brave. Now, for the same reasons as Mollymock, I think Tyrion Darrington is out. I'm not a Tyrion Darrington fan. Yes, he's an okay character, but to me, he felt very... What's the best way to put it? He felt like a side character. Scanlan wasn't dead. Scanlan had left, and Scanlan even eventually came back. To me, it kind of felt like Sam had got bored of playing the frontman, playing this traumatized little guy who was just a bit of a problem at the time. and needed Scanlan to go under a lot of character development that they didn't have time to do in the terms of Vox Machina because of the time constraint. So he essentially spent a year with his daughter and he grew. He came back a completely different person. He came back not as the leader of Vox Machina as he was before, but more in a supportive team working role. He came back more humble than he left. And I fully believe he was the leader of Vox Machina up until he left. And that's where Vex and Caliph kind of had to step in and fill that power gap, because Scanlan was the man with the plan. Scanlan was the one that came up with the out-of-the-box ideas, and Scanlan was the one walking up to Dark Dwarves and giving them a hug and making them disappear. He was the one charming people and turning into beholders to try and counteract magic. He was the one casting banishment on anyone that got in his way. Scanlan is a great example of someone who went through trauma, who doesn't have the right coping mechanism, who is just going through life with no purpose, no goal, just going along with what other people are doing, not caring and making the best out of a bad situation, and exploring that through his body and other examples, and just making the jokes. It was great with Robin Williams, who himself was known for his kindness and his smile and his generosity, who said, "Behind the biggest smiles can hide the deepest pains." And Scanlan proved that time and time again. After finding out he had a daughter, after finding out he needs to be a better person, he tried to make those changes. And actually having something to live for was what is undoing. He developed drug addictions, he developed panic attacks. He was so scared to die and not be there for his daughter that he just lost it. No one in the party saw it. No one in the party cared. He was the funny man with the purple hand who was there to make them feel better, and that's why he lost it. He had one thing he cared about in this world, and that's his daughter, and they ruined that relationship for him. He promised her he wouldn't die, and he did. And they exposed her to that. And he lost. Now, Not has her own trauma, Not has her own shit she's dealing with regarding to her husband, her son, her essentially reincarnation into a goblin. And I get it. She is cool, she is cute, don't get me wrong. I love Not, and I am very quickly coming around to Not and how cool she actually is. But to me, Scanlan needs that chrome. Scanlan is the one who deserves to be in the spotlight there. Scanlan is the one who deserves to be the collectible. He is the one that deserves to be wanted. Not is wanted. Not is wanted by her son. Not is wanted by her husband. Not is wanted by the Mighty Nine. Not is wanted by the government. Scanlan was tolerated. Scanlan was the person you call a friend, but you didn't invite to your wedding or your ascensions, or when you became the leader of the Ashari. Scanlan deserves this chrome. He deserves to be sought after. He deserves to be wanted. He deserves to be loved. And I've not seen Campaign 3. I don't know how this goes down. But at the end of Campaign 1, it looks like he's kind of doing better. He has his future. He has that relationship with his daughter. He has this life in front of him. But he lost a lot to get there, including who he was at the beginning. In terms of character development and growth, Scanlan's the furthest person from who he was at the Dwarfen Mines to the end of Vecna. Everyone else kind of is very similar to the way they were. They've all gone under character development, but Scanlan's growth from the point A to point B from session 1 of the filmed campaign to the last episode, he's the one that's undergone the most dramatic changes. And that's including the fact that Percy was died, exercised, and kind of went all out. But I think Scanlan deserves this Chrome, and I spent way longer talking about this aspect than any other aspect. Okay, let's move on to Travis Willingham. Travis Willingham plays two very cool characters. We have Ford, aka Captain Tusstooth, and Groggery Strongjaw, Grand Poobah of this and that. And I love you, Ford, but it's Grog. It's Grog all the way. If Percy gets it, Percy takes the pack-bound aspect immediately. Ford is very cool, and if Laura Bailey is Jester, it would be very cool to have them together. It has to be Grog. Grog is the most playable card. Grog is gotta be the most beloved. As cool as Ford is, the amount of fan art, the amount of love, the amount of stuff that goes on. He has the best lines in Vox Machina. He has one of the best personalities in Vox Machina, and he is just, quite simply put, the better card. Ford is very cool. Grog is a lot more playable. Grog will be seen more. Grog will be a great onboarding character, and Grog will pull people in, which is the goal. I think this Chrome has to go to Grog. Then we have Ashley Johnson, aka Yasha, aka Pike Trickfoot, champion of the Everlight, and I think this one's a tough one. One of the reasons Ashley unfortunately wasn't around as much as the other cast members for the shows as I heard them, but her presence was still there. When she was there, and when she wasn't there, she was missed. It created this massive hole in the stories. It created this massive hole in like the table play, and especially when it came to 99, Yasha was a lot more important, so the character kept getting played, kept getting passed around the table, and Ashley Johnson then came back and was able to slip right back in. I think it's one of those things that by playing each other's characters, they also got a better feel as to how to go, and Travis playing the Barbarian Yasha was perfect because Travis played a Barbarian for about 3-4 years. As cool as Pike is, and as much as I want it to be Pike, I think this is Yasha. Yasha has some great aspects that can be used in terms of the card art. I think Yasha and Pike both have the same relativity of playability in terms of the meta. Yasha is going to just go so much harder on a Chrome than Pike. I love you, Pike. I really do. But I think this one goes to Yasha. And then we come to our last one. Matthew Mercer. The only person on here who has 4 fucking options, and only one of which is carried over from my last video. We have Lady Kima, Pumat Sol, Essek Phaelus, and Allura. And I am going to have to go with Allura. Essek is very cool. Essek is an absolute beast, and my personal headcanon is Essek is the campaign to self-insert. Matt Mercer is his character within the party. Pumat Sol is very cool, but we haven't. I'm like almost 60 episodes in now, and we haven't seen him since we left Zagast. And that's a weird one to put into a Chrome. He's very cool, and I think that's a very cool aspect to it. I really wish it'd been Sean Gilmore. But beggars can't be choosers. Puma is still very cool. Same with Kima. Kima's very cool, but Kima just doesn't get the same amount of screen time and interaction with the party as Allura and Essek do. Essek is very powerful, very cool, but Matt has gone on record as saying that Allura is his self-insert character. And one of the things that kind of caught me off guard is we had Essek, Kima, Pumat Sol, and Allura out in the world being shown off, and the only one that Matthew Mercer put into his stories on Instagram was Allura. Now that might just be because that's the only one he's seen, or because Universus had shown off and that's the only one he saw like that kind of day. But yeah, Allura is the one that he chose to talk about, saying that is my girl, and I think that's going to be our Chrome. I think Allura is going to be the Chrome. And as much as I would love it to be my boy Essek, and as much as I love the Traveller to just appear out of nowhere like he's known to do, I don't think he will. I don't think he can. And I think Allura is going to be the Chrome for Matthew Mercer. So these are my choices for the Chromes. These are my characters that I think each person is going to be doing. I think these are the characters that are going to appear as Chromes. And I'm very excited to see what actually comes of this. What do you think? Is there any holes in my logic? Is there anything that I've missed out because I'm not quite deep enough into 99 or stuff that's happened in Campaign 3 that might change that point of view? I'll catch you on the next one. And the best thing to ask is it game night yet? I'll catch you all in a bit. Bye.